I didn't know what to tell him. I don't know how to react. Who has the guts to tell the president that you are wrong?
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
The journey of the book is quite interesting. It just happened suddenly. The former president, Honorable Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, used to wake up early in the morning at about 5:30, and he used to go for his walk in the Mughal Gardens. And in the month of October, November is a time when you have a lot of birds, migratory birds coming into Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is a haven in a concrete jungle. And there was cacophony of sounds, birds. So he turned around and told me, like Bengali says, Mathew, why don't you take photographs of the birds? So I used to do all his official photographs. That is, his portrait has been taken. I said, sir, I'll do it. So because who can say no to the president of India? You can't say no. So I said, yes, I will do it. So I just thought he's just saying out of fun or, in zest he's saying. So halfway through, he repeated this. So I said, sir, of course I will do this. And after the meeting we had for a speech of his, again in Mughal Garden, he turned around and said, don't forget to do the book. At our anniversary of this presidency, we will invite the Prime Minister to launch the book. So I just thought this is again another statement in zest. 1 week after that, he called me and said, the Prime Minister has agreed. Next anniversary, we will launch the book. So I was stunned. I didn't know what to tell him. I don't know how to react. Who has the guts to tell the president that you are wrong? But then I told him, I said, sir, tell me, all the people in this country would obey your words. What do I tell the birds to give me a shot? You tell me that. So he turned around and said, you will manage, Thomas. But that is in addition to all the responsibilities you have. Look at all the cases where you give pardon, you send people to the gallows, every analysis. So what do we do? About 8 to 9 years ago, I think it's about 2004 or 5, the Bombay Natural Society had sent about 4 or 5 people who stayed in Rashtrapati Bhavan for about 1 year. And they were able to record the sightings of about 94 different birds. And they had stock photos, not those photos. So the president called and said, we want photos of the birds in Rashtrapati Bhavan. So that was the tallest order president could give. So I said, yeah, we need to do something. So what did I do? I called the OSD horticulture. So under him, you have about 400, 500 gardeners. I said, get your crack guys from 18 years to 26 or 30. I said, get me the smartest guys. He said, okay. He got me about 30, 32 guys. So from that I selected about 24 guys. And I said, your next increment will depend on what I'm going to tell you now. Now, what is your job? I said, every day you'll go out into the field in Rashtrapati Bhavan, look for birds, and as soon as you see a bird, you will let me know. Not on the phone. So we hired walkie-talkie and gave those guys. And how did we identify the birds? It's quite interesting. So I took out a compendium that is from the net. Every month, the kind of birds that would be in Delhi and Rashtrapati Bhavan. So in the month of October, first of October, I have a meeting at my house. I give them breakfast, aloo ka parota, and we sit on the lawn, the ground, and I make a presentation. These are the birds coming, and here is your compendium, 1 to 100 pages. So we had this walkie-talkie, and my car used to be ready with this camera. Otherwise, it is impossible to capture so many photographs. Even if I had spent about, let's say about 100 years, I would not have got this. So you have about, depending on the day, about 66 pairs of eyes looking for the birds. Okay, and everybody interested in getting the additional increment. So they'll say, sir, bird number page 43. Dali khane mein hai, aiye. So he will know what the bird is. So he sees. So that is how I got this.
Trackers, essentially.
And that's how, otherwise it is impossible. To say that I spend all my time doing this, at the same time perform my duty as the Secretary to the President would be, tall talk and not there. So this is the genesis of the book. And it was appreciated by, in fact, the Honorable Prime Minister, when he launched it, gave an amazing speech on the migration of birds and how it's related to the world as one. And everybody should be seen as one family. He spun beautifully. So that's the history of this book. And there are several photographs in this book. There are, for instance, there is a photograph about which I'm going to talk. That's about, male quail feeding a female quail. The only photograph in the world. It is by chance. It is not that I was so brilliant. No, I got the chance. Just happened, and I got that shot. Now, if you look at this photograph, he is asking his female. This is the male. He's asking his female, let me take you out for a date. Yes. And when we say, okay, will you join me for dinner? He takes a seed or a worm and puts it into her beak. And she accepts this. Now, what you need to see is, his eyes are blazing red with excitement. Hers shut with demure expectation. No, look at this. No, look at this. Look at her eyes, look at his eyes. No, it is a typical male excitement. And how this happened was very interesting. Early morning at 5:30, I was writing a speech, so I had this camera on the stand, 2 of them. So suddenly I heard, there's a cacophony when this happens. It is behind the foliage, so you can't see them. Like Moses divided Red Sea. Suddenly there came a huge breeze and got exposed. I took about 600 photographs. I only got 2 of them with the exact position. So it is providence. It is not my capability. It just happened. So the book has got so many of these photographs which has happened by chance. By luck is all what I will say. And in fact, there were so many people who wanted the rights to this photo. I said, no. I said, that's it. I'm sorry, it's a long answer because I thought it was exciting. See, the one person who really loved this book is Obama. Can you get that? Can you? No, not this one. Oh, I gave you the other one in which he was being presented. In fact, the Honorable President presented a copy to Obama. Actually, it is there. And he opened it and said, oh my God, I don't know if my chief of staff would have the time to do this. And I said, it calls for a lot of talent. I said, sir, thank you very much for your gracious words, but I'm available for hire. I actually told him this. Then, he's a man of quick wit and a lawyer. He turned around as well. I can go back to White House and see if there is an opening for me. Then I turned around and told him, I said, sir, that is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is the White House. I said, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is not known to be a good paymaster. I'll be very reluctant. And then Bishop turned around and said, he's got you. He's got you. Another was, the world leaders from the Arab, that is West Asia, were very fond because, they're into falconry. And there are a few photographs of, in this series of Shikra on hunt. They were quite fascinated. And most of the world leaders, and so was the Chinese president. And interestingly, Mr. Putin too was very amazed. No, he's a man who goes for hunting, wildlife. It's also his passion. So, see, it's being. I was lucky to be there. Let me be very honest about it. I was lucky to be there, lucky to be given the opportunity, and opportunity. That's it. Mr. Tata, to me, not because I'm his biographer, to me personally, is the best example of an ethical industrialist in the country. He stands head and shoulders above, including the founder of the group, Jamshedji Tata, and also JRD. It may be blasphemy to say so, but after having spent hours and hours and hours with him, so many interviews, spent a lot of time talking about his early life. The problem with Mr. Tata is that he is reticent. He would not like to speak about it. You praise him and he'll bite his lips. He'll just shake. Now, if you look at his achievements, it's something which the world doesn't know, actually. India does not know. The world's leading magazines don't know. I'll just give you one example. Figures may go wrong here or there. I'm sure all of you know about Jack Welch, the GE chief. He was at the helm from 1981 to 2000. During this period, 19 years, he took his corporation from $28 billion to $130 billion. It's about 381% increase. During Mr. Tata's tenure, that's from 1991 to 2012, he took the Tata conglomerate from about $5.42 billion to $100 billion, which is 1,760 or 40% increase. While Jack Welch was termed by economists as the leader, captain of the industry for decades. While Mr. Tata's contribution, both to India and the world, would pale in significance every other achievement of any industrialist in the world. But the world, nobody knows about. Nobody knows about. I'll give you another simple example, which he himself, Mr. Tata himself, did not know. He was surprised to know about it. That is, he became chairman of Tata Motors in December 1988. He continued till 2012. And during this phase, the top line growth of the company, make a guess what percentage it would have increased by. Somebody make a guess. Go ahead. Somebody else make a guess. Okay, 13,700% odd. And if you look at the economic contraction in 2008, normally you say 8 years time you give in order for the effect of the contraction, that is the economic contraction, to ease. If you take the turnover from 1988 to 2016, the percentage growth almost kisses 20,000%. Nobody knows it. Even the Tata Motors CEO doesn't know it. Even Mr. Tata himself didn't know. He says, no, Thomas, I think the figures are wrong. I said, no, sir, figures are not wrong. See, that is this man. He would not like to take credit. He will do his work. He is unflinchingly ethical and very down to earth, very friendly. And his humility can be humiliating to you. Because we think we are all big guys, we are damn big and all this. He will come and see you to your car. Now, what do you do for that? You tell him, sir, please, it's not possible. You cannot do it because by age, by reputation, by stature, we are not even a minion in front of you. He says, Thomas, why did you stop me from doing what I want? That's what he said. What I wanted to tell you is that I'm not going to go much, I'll stop at that. In 1991, India transformed, and during the buffeting winds of economic change, he transformed the group from one which thrived within the license Raj into a workhorse, taking the Tatas and India to the world more than even Jamshedji did or anybody in the country did. That's how great that man is. When he went for JLR, you'll be surprised to know, JLR has got one of the most powerful organizations in the US. That is the JLR Dealers Association. They turned around and said, India is a nation of bicyclists. This Marque company cannot go to the owners of cycles. And then finally, because of his own behavior, that man who was his critic became his most ardent follower. So that's the kind of man he is. And he was able to do all this by refusing to do what almost all the other industrial group would do. In fact, the book contains many such instances. That is, but the journey has been, I interviewed about 140 people across the world. And it was quite fascinating. It was quite, the journey was quite fascinating. It's very complex because it deals with about 28 listed companies and about almost 90 or 100 unlisted companies. Even nobody even knows how many companies the Tatas have got, except for the listed 28. So he is a man, according to me, who hates to be celebrated. You praise him and he'll get uncomfortable. But he's so towering that I don't think India or the world has seen an industrialist who can hold candle to him. That's my conclusion.
These data points speak volumes, and I'm sure there's an incredible amount of research that you've had to do, and also to get him to talk and hear some praise about himself. Also the other side, Ratan Tata or the Tata Group, particularly him for the long time that he has led the group, to a large section of the population, which is a middle class and people who are kind of discovering what is automotives, what is vehicles. And there's so many initiatives that he took, keeping an eye on what somebody who could not afford something could get the same, whether it is the vehicle for 1 lakh, whether it is, bringing FMCG products in different segments, and so on and so forth. So I think he has touched a very wide variety of population, and he's one of those very key industrialists in that league. We have a few. There's no point taking more names, but definitely he stands tall in that league. Is enough being done by way of corporate contributions for conservation, for nature, for wildlife? Is there scope for improvement? What is it that can be done? Your impressions on that?
If you really ask me, not enough attention has been paid by the corporates for sustaining the environment. If I get my data points right, I think at present, it's only about 6 to 9% of the CSR go towards conservation. And but at the same time, there is an increasing tendency and awareness among the corporate to invest more in sustaining environment.
Sustainable development, yeah.
Environment and focus on sustainable development. The main reason why you do this is because there is also an economic factor to this. According to an estimate taken by a world leading body, they say we lose about 1.6% of our annual output on account of the bad air that's there in our homes and outside. They say about 1.6 billion people die on account of the bad air that we breathe. It's about 1 outside, but 0.6 inside. So when you take all these factors into account, there is a need to increase the contribution in terms of social responsibility and contribute to sustainable development. In fact, it's something very interesting. Last 5 years, if you see, almost 80% of the generation of electricity is through renewable sources. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg. You need to do much more. And I'm told that if the present trend continues by 2025, almost 20% of the CSR would go towards sustainable development, and it is actually going to increase exponentially, irrespective of the fact that you're starting from a lower base. But there is scope, and at the same time, there is increasing awareness. But is it enough? No. Is there scope for improvement? Answer is yes.
Yes, because the economic factor you referred to possibly needs to be seen in a time zone frame. And that's why we talk about the profitability or economic factor from sustainability perspective. What impact it has in the short run, what impact it has in the long run, and therefore, how much are we committed to sustainability in our business practices is one bucket. How much do we directly contribute to conserving nature? Because there are a whole lot of people doing work there who may not be aligned to the business activities of many corporates because they're in diverse fields. But possibly some collective effort to support this segment of people, these champions who are out there risking their lives, risking their careers, giving their entire life to conservation. Possibly the second bucket needs a little more than what it is getting at the moment.
Undoubtedly. Yeah. I agree with you. Can't agree with you more.
Sure. Well, coming back to Rashtrapati Bhavan again, before the wildlife. I wanted you to talk about particularly the initiative on conservation of water, the structural changes that you thought through and you got them carried out, which I believe saved billions of gallons of water in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. I don't know much about it, honestly. I just read about it in a conversation with Mohit. Even I would want to know, and everybody would want to know, to learn more from this.
See, it's interesting that Mughal Gardens is famous throughout the world. That's the place where you have at-home function of the Honorable President of India. Any visitor who is the chief guest for our Independence Day would be invited, or any visiting dignitary, if they express a desire to take it to the Mughal Gardens. And totally, we have about 200 acres of green grass to be fed water every day. Okay, 200 acres. Initially, we used to depend on the water supply from Okla. Okay, I'm talking about the untreated water. But every day was a fight. In summer, there was not enough pressure in order to take care of the Mughal Gardens. The Mughal Gardens is open during the winter. You know that. We cannot come out to the public and say there is no water in the first citizen of the country's house. We can't say that. So what did we do? So we went to the old sewerage system. It's quite interesting. Old sewerage system. And they were built by the British. So we said, let's tap into the North Avenue and the South Avenue sewerage system. And about 16 to 18 lakh liters of water consumed in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Out of it, 80% will go as sewerage, including washing hands, washing plates, etc. So we thought, why would we not have a sewerage treatment plant? So what did we do? we got in touch with IIT Delhi. They planned, IIT Delhi, all geeks you have over there, brainy. They're as good as anybody, even from MIT. We got them to design, and we got L&T into the picture. So what did we do? We tapped into the sewerage system of North Avenue and South Avenue, drilling underground, and brought this connection into Rashtrapati Bhavan. Had water capacity, that is a tank or a lined pond we made, which should have a capacity of 5 million liters. And what did we do? From then on, we started using the sewerage water for all the needs of watering the Rashtrapati. That's talk about 200 acres, where we cannot even allow a blade of grass to grow brown because of the heat. That's a supply. So what did we do? We thought we will use this as an ecosystem. That came out quite interesting. And if you have seen a sewerage treatment plant, we had a filtration. If you have seen, there's a place for filtration. There's a filtration platform. There you have pebbles where the water flows continuously. So in between that, we had about 5 square feet of place demarcated with bricks and sand and mud put on it. The reason being allowed blades of grass and different trees or shrubs to grow in them. That is in between the filtration area.
What are some places, or can you tell us like an anecdote about places where you've seen such things being implemented? And what has been, do you think there's almost a snowball effect of one person starting it?
See, that's a good question. The Honorable President inaugurated it, and Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister, Sisodia, they were also there. As soon as they saw this, the Chief Minister is an IITian, as you know. He immediately got the idea. He asked us to collaborate with them to start this in all areas of Delhi. And they immediately picked it up. And in fact, they asked the president if, they can send me on deputation, which the president said, no, that would not be possible. But we helped them, advised them, and in many places now they have the sewage treatment plant. See, 80% of the water you use at home, washing dishes, can actually be recycled. I'll tell you something very interesting. In Germany, the German Chancellor had a glass of water which he says from the sewage treatment plant, and you can drink it. So I challenged L&T and said, can you do this? They said, yes. So they brought a glass of water to my room. And I said, you drink it first, not me. But it is not that you could drink. So I'll tell you something very interesting. All the flush in Rashtrapati Bhavan, all the other uses other than potable water, now we use the STP, the sewage treatment plant. All this have cascading effect. And they do. And that's the way to go forward. You will not have this fight for water. I also need to tell you about one thing. I have a small farm near Raisina. That's near Sona. Okay. It was completely barren land. Completely barren. So every time the president went abroad, I brought trees and plants from all over the world. Okay. Though not strictly legal. I planted it in my place. I have about 600, 700 varieties of them. We have papayas from various places, trees from Côte d'Ivoire. And the Aravalli is a dry forest, if you know. It's only got kikar. So I have got about 67 varieties of mango trees. I've got passion fruit growing in my farm. People can't, I don't know, many of you have not even seen passion fruit. Passion fruit is it grows on a vine, and I have it here in my farm. And I let half the fruit trees give fruits, and nobody would harvest it, leave it for the birds. I've created a water body, small water body, with fish in it. And so there is an ecosystem there today. And you have flowers and flowers and plants of the varieties that will give you flowers all 12 months of a year. So every time there is a clash of colors in the farm. So you will find all kinds of birds. Suddenly, Alexandrine parakeet, if you know the tota which got a red on the wings, they started making nests. Paradise flycatcher started coming in, and all kinds. So therefore, you can create ecosystem. Seeing me do it, another farmhouse guy started doing it. And by farmhouse means, please understand, it's not like Aman's farmhouse. Okay, let me tell you that. It has got no lawn. It's only got wild trees, wild grass, where you have partridges, black, quails, all living in wild. And that's the kind of ecosystem you create. And then the only problem is, I've got in between leopards coming. So I tell my friends, why do you need to go to Rajat? You come to my place, you can see leopards coming out. So that's the kind of ecosystem that you create, These are all, you set by example. You do that and people will pick up these stories.
Well, I mean, what can I say? What a fantastic session. I must say that I am not entirely familiar with the topic. And, I just want to say that one of my key takeaways from today's discussion, and I've been thinking about all the, discussion that happened today, was if we have to save the planet, we must see the planet. And you can only save what you can see. And I write this example for myself that I think if you buy food that's in a packet, then you are buying food that somebody wants to sell you. But if you pick it from the tree, then you are getting the food that you want. And in very similarly, if you are seeing nature on a screen, then you are seeing what somebody is trying to show you. But if you're going to the jungle, then you are seeing nature and you're seeing the movie that you talked about. You talked about, the jungle speaking to you. And I'm absolutely humbled by how you have your discussion today has kind of opened my eyes to this concept. So, thank you very much for a very, very engaging conversation. We were absolutely privileged and honored to have you both here. Thank you very much. I also want to, this young lady brought up a very interesting question on water conservation. And of course, we all know that water conservation in our city is a very, very big problem. I do, however, for some of the people in the audience, that today's environmental laws in commercial and organized real estate development, water conservation is mandatory. Right? I'm very proud to tell you that our entire airport has zero discharge. All of Aerocity, all of the hotels and office buildings here are completely zero discharge. We recycle not 80%, but 100% of our water. Not only that, and again, this isn't about bragging about GMR and all that, it is the world's only carbon neutral airport. That still doesn't solve the sustainability problem, right? It doesn't solve anything. And I think that the solution to sustainability and the solution to sustainable way of life is not to be dependent on a government to do some action, not only for corporates to do their stuff, but I think as individuals, as people, we need to be sustainable in the manner in which we live our lives. Simple things of just going to the grocery store to buy your groceries can be sustainable instead of ordering a delivery, right? A simple thing of recycling your clothes, just buying 2 less pairs of shoes, all of these things can be sustainable. Fashion is not about unsustainability. The fashion can be sustainable. So, I think we all need to join this parade. I'm not here to preach, but I'm here to urge that we should all join as responsible citizens in this journey. Thank you very much again.
Hi, I'm Pranjali. I'm an architect, urban designer, and artist. And honestly, I've been to places, to other art galleries. This huge place is amazing. And especially Aerocity and the environment here, the vibrancy, everything is just perfect. And this initiative which Mr. Mohit has taken about nature and how we have to preserve it, great initiative. I think we should all think about it, and it's high time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shweta Bharati. I'm the managing partner at law firm Hammurabi and Solomon Partners. So I joined the discussion while there was discussion with respect to the book happening. Interesting discussion, interesting insights. I think, the whole discussion that we were able to cover right from how, Ratan Tata's life has been, what are the kind of inspirations and what are the kind of ethical considerations that he has, provided. And then on to talk about, how sustainability is bringing about a certain amount of change in our lives. So much of necessity with respect to sustainability. So I think in terms of, covering the areas, we really covered a lot of interesting points. I think for the new generation, there's a lot of message around it. And also, it is important to understand. And I really liked that bit where we spoke about the aspect of going to the jungle and what to expect from the jungle. I think those are things that is very important in terms of, discussion. So a great, environment, great pictures. Love the pictures. All of them are lovely pictures and excellent discussion. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. I visited Aerocity today, and it was a very great experience. I was impressed by the environment in this place, how beautifully they have kept the entire ecosystem over here. It looks as if you walked into a European city. In fact, I should compliment the organizers and also the people who are in charge of management of this area. What I found more interesting is that the space, the way the shops have been organized, and how friendly people are, especially during the meeting we had in this nice hall. It looked as if it is a perfect place for intellectual interaction. And I'm extremely happy that these kind of facilities are now available in Gurgaon. The main reason is that they could be venues for interaction and exchange of ideas, which will lead to the development of intellectual heft among the younger generation, and also be an occasion for people to talk about the societal problems and how to take the future in a serious manner, so that all the people in this country shall benefit from the advice of the experts and their experience. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure coming to Aerocity, and I hope that others would also follow suit and gain experience in this place. Thank you.